welcome back.
Hi.
This week we'd like to share with you how we left Rhode Island.
Yeah!
Finally.
We did.
We did. Not that we didn't like Rhode Island. We liked
No,
Rhode Island a
we love
lot,
it.
but we finally got going.
Let go the anchor.
Let
Well,
go.
no, we kept the anchor. We just got it out of the ground.
We'd like to share with you the first leg of our trip as we cruise south. We have a little bit of information to share with you on boat documentation. Always fun stuff, but very important when you're cruising. Share some information on the gear corner for you with the iPad, purchasing an iPad, what to get, what not to get, so that your charts work.
What to look for. Yeah.
Enjoy the video.
Enjoy the view.
Alrighty, so it's a beautiful beach here on Block Island. We didn't get to visit because it was a wee bit rough to take the dinghy to shore. Very pretty and a little choppy as we exit the channel. How you doing there, Captain?
Just fine and ducky. Right down the middle of the street.
17 knots of wind, 18 feet.
Thank you.
And I'm imagining it's a little bit breezier as we head out. So we'll get the sails up and
Where are we going?
have a good sail.
River, right?
The Thames River to London.
And the second anchorage will be
17 feet.
Shanghai or something?
Mount Sinai.
Only
On
Shanghai.
Mount Sinai on Long Island. It's a beautiful island. Maybe we'll visit again if we're up here next year. Alright folks, we are sailing. It's a little, what they say, I guess, boisterous. Is that a fair descriptor?
Yeah, 310 is the course to have.
And we gave the kiddies some seasickness meds this time because we went into Block Island. They didn't seem happy, and I'm really glad we did that. It's pretty rocky. We gave Walter a gabapentin. He seemed really nervous. I'm really glad we did that. So Wally came up to join us, and I learned that Wally needs to come join us sooner because Wally was very scared downstairs. We thought it was rough and it was better to leave him down, but Wally didn't think so. So unless it's like really, 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 really rough, I don't quite know what we're going to do with you then. Maybe just tie you in and let you stay between us. And the wind has calmed down. It's about 12 knots now, gusting to 15. We're on a course of 330, heading towards the westerly point of Rhode Island, over to Connecticut. We turned the engine on because the wind was kind of in our face and we needed to go across the pass with all the big rocks and markers and 6 different passes around it and wrecks and all sorts of things. So we're going down, just skirting the Connecticut coast. Heading to Mount Sinai, about 4 nautical miles east of Port Jefferson, I do believe, is where we are heading this afternoon. So we were heading out the channel of New London, Connecticut, and Walter doesn't like the powerboat. He said, slow down, no wake.
No fishing.
Walter,
We're gonna go bark at him.
you're gonna go tell him to slow down in the harbor? Yeah? Yep. Alrighty, so out New London Harbor into the Long Island Sound. Here's a cool looking house. I don't think it's a house, I think it's a watchtower of some sort that marks the entrance of the harbor. Long Island and a big ship going alongside of it down the Long Island Sound. We're motoring because it's a beautiful but pretty dead flat calm day. There's like 3 to 4 knots of wind behind us, so we kind of need to make tracks today. So unfortunately the motor is on, but it is beautiful. And the kiddies have come out to join us the first time underway. They haven't been out yet with a sail. Still getting used to that. But they're all happy to come out and explore the fresh air and sunshine today when it is so dead flat calm. There's Long Island on the other side of the sound.
Long Island?
I mean Connecticut.
Connecticut.
On the other side of the sound.
Yeah. I think I actually fixed the stupid autopilot.
What was going on with the autopilot?
It was, I didn't know, but it was set on follow track, so every time I put it on, it was trying to get back to the numero uno waypoint I've done way back there, because we haven't really hit the waypoint, so it didn't think that we actually went there, so it wants to go back to number 1. So it kept trying to turn, and I'm like, no. So I would turn it off, and yesterday it did the same thing, but now I said go to waypoint, but I pointed at the one by land. It seems to be heading in the right direction this time.
So hopefully the autopilot is functioning well and it was just the settings we weren't aware of.
Correct.
Wally's getting used to things. He had a bit of a scare yesterday. It was very rough coming out of Block Sound. We're really kind of punching into some choppy waves and really didn't like it. He really didn't like it and it made him sick, and I didn't know to give him the seasickness meds, so I know now. He's feeling a bit needy underway today, but I think a very calm, dead flat calm day like today, the benefit will be for him to get comfortable again. Good evening, folks. So here we are There's some interesting history around the naming of this region or of this harbor. The native people had named this area Nanawantak, and it also then became known as Old Man's. Strange how they would name a harbor Old Man's, and there's still a boatyard called Old Man's Boatyard. What we learned was way back when community officials asked for installation of a post office in 1840, they were told Old Man's was not an acceptable name for a town. For a brief time, they called it Mount Vernon, until it was realized the name was already taken by a New York City suburb. We learned the townsfolk gathered at the church and complained why anybody could pick a better name than opening the Bible and sticking a finger anywhere upon a page. That's exactly what the postmaster's wife apparently did. She used a knitting needle rather than her finger. The needle landed smack upon the descent of Moses from Mount Sinai. That's how Mount Sinai came to be. I never would have known that because growing up in New York, I knew Mount Sinai in terms of the hospital and health center that's there. I didn't even know it was such a beautiful port, as we have come to learn by coming here on our boat. Fun stuff back in the day, or the 1800s.
All right, well, welcome to the tech corner, gear corner. So this week we're going to talk about the iPad that we purchased to have our mapping system on, and the small mistake we made because we researched it a long time ago. Actually, it was way back in Golden in the mountains. And we remember listening or looking at something about having the Wi-Fi and the cellular, just because then you get to have a GPS that works with the iPad. So our mistake was when we went to buy it, we looked at it and we thought about the Wi-Fi part, but we did not remember the cellular part. So we bought this one, which was Wi-Fi but not cellular. So we bought it and got here, and when I plugged it in, put the system in, it just wasn't working quite well. The position wasn't even close. Then I looked at the GPS signal and there was nothing. So we decided, okay, so what do we do? Buy another iPad? Nah. Buy a used one? Eh. So we just decided to add this little piece. It's called the Dual SkyPro GPS. And this puppy, plug it into the iPad and it gives you a position which even the pilots use. It's within 6 feet. So it's really, really accurate and really nice. So that was our fix to that issue. And as you notice here, our iPad comes in. We bought also this waterproof, shockproof, military grade cover for the iPad, just because we didn't want this thing to go sploosh or to get, zapped or whatever, and not break it. So yeah, with this little puppy here, it just saved us. And this is 200 and...
It was 165 US.
165 US.
So with the cost
So
of the iPad.
with the iPad and this is less than the actual iPad with the cellular. So I think it was a good idea.
The GPS and the GLONASS?
Well, okay, so it actually uses the Russian satellite, which is called GLONASS. It's probably a whole bunch of letters that I have no idea what it means. But it's GPS, which is American, and GLONASS, which is Russian. So it uses both. I'm not sure if I'm going to get arrested by the FBI or the CIA, but this is what we're using. And it seems to work. So
It's supposed to be quite accurate.
it's very accurate. Like I was saying, it's within 6 feet of, as you can tell, there's somebody behind the camera. Guess who?
So you can use it on up to this many devices.
Oh, you can use it on 5 devices. So yes, we can have it on the iPad. We can have it on the phone. We can have it on my phone. We can have it on somebody else's phone. So yeah, the computer, we could put it on the computer. So yeah, it's pretty good. So all in all, I think we did actually better at buying just a Wi-Fi one and, buying that dual Sky Pro GPS. We're not sponsored by anybody, so obviously we're not sponsored by these guys. But so far it's working really well, so, there it is. So that was our Gear Corner for the week. We will talk to you next week.
Okay, so I'll talk to you a little bit about boat documentation and logistics and documentation while cruising. So we're still in the United States, but we are now on a foreign flagged vessel. So when we changed the flagging over to Canada, we became a foreign vessel in the United States. And there's rules for boats and rules for people. Dennis is a Canadian citizen, so there's rules for Dennis. I'm a dual citizen, so while in the U.S., I travel on my U.S. passport. It's a little bit easier for me in that respect. The boat is now Canadian, and so when we got as I was in the process of getting the boat flagging paperwork completed, I made a bunch of phone calls, Googled, researched a bunch of stuff online, read up on the Noon site, website, to try to figure out what do we do. I knew that when a boat was foreign and it came into the United States from another country, you get a cruising permit, which you can have for up to a year, and it allows you to cruise relatively freely from port to port throughout the States. So in trying to figure out what to do, I learned that there can be some big discrepancies between what you read online here and there, what you get told from one government office and what you get told from another government office. In calling the New England Customs and Border Protection for the United States, CBP offices, I was very clearly told that because the boat has not yet left the U.S., we were not eligible for a cruising permit for the boat. And that was also what I read in a lot of places. And what we would need to do was use a particular form to check in and out of each region, which is sort of by state, but not always. Some of the states overlap. And every time we went into a region and left a region, we would have to clear in and clear out. Let me show you the form. So it's Form 1300, and it looked a little overwhelming at first, and it ended up not being a big deal. You either check off that you're clearing in, or where did that go? You're entering or you're clearing a region. You fill out identifying information on the form, and then there's places to give info on yourselves and the boat, and then you have to give a blurb as to where you've been and where you're going and when that's happening. So I began filling these forms out, and I learned very quickly that it was really, really important that you had to have the form stamped and returned to you after you clear in, which wasn't a big deal because you're there, and when you go to exit. And you cannot leave a region until you have been given approval to leave a region. And so as we started planning our course down the coast, and as weather started rolling in, it became a little overwhelming with timing and getting the form. I have to say, every time I called the Custom and Border Protection office, 99% of the time I was received by very helpful, very kind officers that did their very best to tell me what they thought was right. There was once or twice that it wasn't as comfortable of a conversation or as friendly of a conversation, but I think they were just having a busy day. So from New England down through New Jersey, New York, into the mid-Atlantic, I was consistently told that I needed to do the Form 1300. As we began to look at what we were going to do south of New Jersey, it got a little bit more complicated to know because the states get smaller and the borders get tweakier because you have to make sure you have clearance before you can leave. And dealing with weather windows, it just felt a little overwhelming. So I made sure I was going to know exactly the scoop for each and every region. And so I worked my way down and called each and every office. And I eventually worked my way down to South Carolina. And when I called South Carolina, the officer in South Carolina told me something that I had read online and that I had also seen on the News Site website, that absolutely not on the Form 1300. You do not have to do that. Yes, you are eligible for a cruising permit. And I said, I'm really confused because I was told since the boat hasn't left the country, I wasn't. And he said, nope, wrong. And he sent me a cruising permit. And I offered to cook the man dinner, and I think he thought maybe it was a bribe. He said, no, ma'am, please don't do that. But I was so thrilled because it just made life a lot easier. You do use, on the cruising permit, CBP Roam app. You use that if you're coming from outside the country to check into the country, whether you're from the U.S. or from another country. And you also, when you're in the country traveling on a foreign flagged vessel, you use the CBP Roam app to check in at port of calls. And once you are gifted, which I felt very gifted, a cruising permit, and you input the cruising permit number into the app with your boat's identifying information, you then are given access to a page for ports of call. So they ask, Customs and Border Protection asks, that you use the app to check in to every port of call that you land, whether you're hunkering down for an evening, anchoring for a couple of days. Whenever you move the boat, they want to track where you are, and so they ask that you use the Roam app. I have heard some people comment, what a pain, because you have to do it every time. Not a pain, not compared to filling out those Form 1300s for every entry and every exit and nervously making sure that the offices are open or that you have a contact number for an office when an office is not open, to be able to make sure you get your stamp form before you can leave a region regardless of the weather and what's going on with your cruising plans. I very happily now open the CBP Roam app and plan to do so for every single place that we stop. So that was our experience with purchasing a boat in the U.S., turning it into a foreign flagged vessel. We'd love to hear from you guys if any of you have had similar experiences, what you've experienced, and how you've made it work for yourselves. We've always thought that it's important to follow the rules, whether we agree with them or not, but it was kind of confusing what the rules were. And I do think everyone did their best in telling me what they thought the rules were. And I think, just like with everything else coming in and out of countries, it's up to the officer's discretion.
as we pull in to Washington Port, we lose our depth sounder. It's not 7 feet. It should be 25 feet. But we have nothing. See? Nothing there. Oh, 8 feet. It shows us 8 feet, which is not true. And it disappears again. I don't know if you noticed. But anyway, so I've got my phone as a backup for depth sounding. I mean, that's the best we can do right now. And it's just like we're going in. Like, really? At this time? Not much we can do. We did try to go in reverse a couple of times in case a plastic bag was on top of it or something. I don't know. But we'll find out later. Hopefully, everything will be fine. Of course it will.
Yay! We got our depth back, 17 feet. Dennis and I are used to BC, where you anchor in 40 to 80 feet as opposed to sail in 40 to 80 feet. But at least we have the depth sounder readings back.
All right, it was fun while it lasted. So join us next week because we're still going.
Watch us
South.
where we continue our journey.
Yes.
Yeah, after this stop, it will be onward to New York City,
The big city.
the big city. And then plans for escaping the soon-to-be November in the Northeast.
Yes. The cold weather.
Because it's getting cold.
We're still
As you
sweatering.
can tell from our
Attire.
outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Remember to click like and subscribe,
Uh-huh.
and thank you very much to everyone who has done so, everyone who's watched,
yes.
and as always, much thanks to our family and friends for all your support.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Everything's tied to electronics as opposed to 24 years ago when we sailed last, huh?
Our meeting when we were there, it was the big square sail, and we had an anchor to the side of this boat. Yeah, it was tough. We had to go poo on the bow.
Oh, honey.
Like the dog. Oh, honey.
She's so boring. She's just like, oh, don't say poo. People won't like it. Like, you poo, I poo, everybody poos.
This is crazy sailor day. This is not a hat for warmth. It's just to prevent you from seeing my nice. What happened to my hat? Next.
Oh, wait.
What?
Remember, when you're done watching the video, to hit like and subscribe. I don't know why you hit your head.
Because we always forget that part.
I just remembered.
Yeah, I know.
Hit like and subscribe. Remember,
Leave a comment.
let us
Tell
know
us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Because we're doing a lot of stuff wrong.
we're doing some things right.
I
Let
think
us
so.
know what you think. We'd love your feedback.
Absolutely. Thanks. You know, I'll have to keep putting it on. Stop doing that. Something cute on my jacket.